Hello and welcome to ACM TV. I'm Shao Dow, professional rapper, manga author, occasional ninja, and mentor for rappers and MCs at ACM. And I'm here with
AC. I'm a rapper, MC, drum and bass, and I'm also a tutor at ACM on the rap and MC degree course and diploma as well.
So we're gonna have a bit of a chat, just talk about some issues and things that we feel are important for up and coming rappers, as well as just any rappers in terms of techniques, improving your craft, that kind of thing. And we thought we'd start off with recording techniques because I mentor a lot of the rap students, and it's something that we go through a lot. How do you get better recording takes? For me personally, it was one of the skills that took the longest to learn, because you put me on a stage, give me a mic, and I'm a rocket, right? But then trying to get that energy and the same vibe transferred from a stage performance or a stage show or a live show into your recording, so different, and it requires different skills and techniques. And I'm sure that's especially true for you from a drum and bass setting.
Similar for me, yeah, definitely. And even like in the hip hop stuff I was doing on stage, it was really energetic. So when you're on the mic, you're not shouting, but you're using your
dynamic
voice. Yeah, so therefore, like in the studio, we wanted that same kind of vibe. So
but you obviously can't go into the studio and just scream at the mic.
We used to do that, but we used to do it from we'd be standing far away and get the engineer to like tell him that's how we wanted it, and he'd like turn the thing down so
the gain.
We could shout, yeah.
But I mean, here's the thing: when I first started recording, I was always, because I'm an MC, right? I'm a rapper. And I take that very, very seriously, and I know a lot of the students do as well. And for me, it was always a case that, okay, I need to get in the booth and I need to spit this thing from beginning to end. Because if I can't spit my lyrics and if I can't do it in one go, then I've failed as a rapper, right? Okay. And that's the mentality I always had. That because I'm performing it, and naturally when you're performing it, you need to be dope and you need to be able to do it. So in my mind, I'm thinking recording, I need to do the exact same thing. So I'm going in the booth. I'm spitting like a 24, 48 or whatever. I get to bar like 47 and I mess up. And I'm on the engineer like, no, do it again. And the guy's like, are you sure you don't just want to cut in? I'm like, no, do it again. And so do the whole thing again. Now I'm messing up on like bar 12. So do it again. This is taking me like 2 hours or whatever to record this whole thing.
Time is money.
Time is money when you're paying for your studio.
For real.
I mean, now I record myself in my home studio, so it's different. And I can spend a whole day recording a verse. But
true.
What I had to learn was the mentality shift in terms of how you approach recording. And I think when you're approaching recording, it's all about getting that best take, even if it means that you're doing lots of different takes. The key thing is you only really, once it's done, you never get to do it again. When you're on stage, if you mess up, cool, next night you just make sure you don't mess up. But once you've recorded it, if you've messed up, if you're a bit off on the flow, if you didn't express yourself properly on the recording, once it's done and out there, you don't get a chance to change it. You know?
There was a good video actually on YouTube where Too Short was talking about where he went to record with Dr Dre, and Snoop had actually told him the night before, just go with whatever Dre's saying. He's gonna break you down. You're gonna get fed up, but just do it. He'll get the best take out of you. And Too Short had never recorded with Dr Dre before, so he went in there. And just for like one verse, they worked on it for 8 hours, and he was just punching in like one word. He was like, no, you didn't say that word that great. So they were punching in one word over and over. And he said by the end of it, he was like, oh my God. But then when he heard it back, he was like, wow, that sounds amazing. I've never sounded that good before. So like when I went into studio as well for the first time, I think I was doing like you trying to spit the whole verse. But then luckily the engineer I was working with was like, yeah, you don't need to do that. Just do like 4 bars, get that really good, then do the next 4 bars. What I would do afterwards, it would always be like I record 4 bars 3 times, choose the best one out of the 3, then do the next 4 bars, and then the next 4 bars, and then play the whole thing as a whole to see if my tone was the same. If the tone's changed, then I'd go back and record that segment, and then anything else that needs like doing, do that again, innit?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And similarly for me, I think I realised the difference in recording when I watched the NWA movie.
Okay,
and that scene when Eazy-E's in the booth, and they're making him go line by line.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if that's how the big boys are doing it, why am I trying to record this whole thing and stressing myself out when I'm making mistakes?
Yeah, for real.
So from there, similarly, I would record 4-bar segments. I'd record 2-bar segments.
Yeah.
Generally, I just go in and record as much as I feel.
Yeah.
Whilst the energy's there, then I stop. I come back a bit, set the recording back a little bit, and record say maybe 2 bars into what I've already got, so that I can match the tone, so that when it goes into that next bit, my voice sounds similar. Because one thing I hate is when you can hear the cuts. You can hear when they punch in. So it's kind of like, let me think of a verse. Well, this is probably one that I'll do for an example later, but like, I'm pig-headed, and any demon that I pick gets deaded. Rip shredded. Swing weapon, begin wrecking with the twin method I taught, and it's all over. Do you know what I mean? And it's like you can hear very blatantly. But at the same time, I hate also when a rapper's very obviously recorded the track from start to finish, and they haven't they're not breathing properly, so you can hear the big breaths where they can hear parts where they're out of breath. You can hear parts where their flow has slipped out a little bit, and it's as simple as just going back and re-recording over the top of that and cutting out the part that you're not happy with, putting it in. But that work's not being done, and I think that we need to look at recording as an art form as much as performing is, and thinking about how do I get that best take. And often that best take is made up of lots of little takes that you've put together, you've cut together, you've chopped and changed, you've moved things about. And I think the more that you record yourself, the better you get it. So probably I think the first piece of advice I'd always give any student is to get used to recording yourself. Even if you're planning to go to a professional studio, get used to recording yourself. What I used to do before I would go to any studio is with my little Mac, I would set up in GarageBand, and just record using the microphone on the Mac. I would literally be spitting at my Mac screen, and I'd have to clean it afterwards because it was covered in saliva. But the point is that I would have gotten used to recording this track. It sounded terrible, but then when I went to the studio, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I'd learn and there's another good point. Make sure you learn your lyrics. Do not be reading your lyrics when you're recording, because it sounds like you're reading.
Like what I would do, like now when I've got my home studio, I'll record it when I'm reading off it, and then I'll learn it, play it over and over, and then I'll re-record it when it's fluent. So it's a similar process to that. But like what I do as well, like when we're talking about the drop-ins, punching in after 2 lines and everything, because I like having like the last word of a bar trail over into the next one. So it's like got more emphasis on that word that's more important. So I will do some things like just 2 bars, then 2 bars, then 2 bars. Sometimes when I've done a drum and bass mix CD, I find that different. I'll do the whole thing, like I'll just spit for an hour, and then any mistakes, whatever, like then I'll just go back and then punch in then. So it is, a bit different.
It depends on what it is you're doing, of course.
But with hip hop tracks and like when you're doing studio tracks, I find that method really helps.
And because you're punching in as well, similar to what you're saying about learning it, I actually, it depending on how much time I've got, because if I've only just written the verse and I need to turn it around quickly for a client, I'll often do it in 4-bar segments where I'll just learn the 4 bars, go in, spit that, come back out, sit in the chair, learn the next 4 bars, go back in, so on and so forth, and do it like that. But the important thing is you're not reading the bars, because it sounds like it. And fundamentally, when you're recording, your focus should be, when the listener hears this, are they getting the energy? Are they getting the intention? Are they getting the vibe behind what you're trying to say? Do you, as an artist, believe what you're saying on this recording? And is the listener going to believe what you're saying? I want to, if I'm rapping about, I backflipped out my window and kicked the moon and it flew into the sun. If I'm recording that, I want you to believe that not only did I do that, but it's totally possible for me to do that. And you need to use your voice in that regard. So if that's halfway through your verse and you've been recording and you're out of breath at this point and you're like, I jumped out the window and I kicked the moon. Do you know what I mean? I don't believe that. So there's nothing wrong with stopping the recording and recording that part.
And even what you were saying about, when you've got 4 bars, say if you're doing it you need to get a verse done that day for a client, for a job, and then, so I'll do that. I'll on Logic, I'll just set it to re-record just so it's just a loop. And then I find like the first one I might have been reading off the phone, then I'm carrying on to the next bit, I'm still doing it. By like about take 5, I know it off by heart,
Yeah.
and that's when it gets really good, and then I'll choose one of those takes when I'm comping after.